I've worked on a lot of people with ACLs, and I've worked a lot of people through knee surgery, but I've never had
that experience. Yeah.
That, oh, they cut my bones off.
Yeah. And I'm sure you saw the photo of the knee when he sent that to me. I mean, and he deadlifted 600 pounds on that meniscus that was just gone.
Yep.
You know, and then, I mean, all the stuff he's been able to do since 12 weeks out, running again.
And doesn't look.
Yeah.
I mean, he's proven the point that like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah. And the thing too is he's going about it in a way that's a little bit different than the traditional medical system has us set up for a total knee replacement. First and foremost, he's not icing, just like you yourself after an injury. Right. And that's a big thing a lot of people don't understand is that ice is not the end all be all, especially after surgery. You ask any surgeon nowadays what they're supposed to do directly after a surgery, it's put them on ice and rest.
Why can't we get over that dogma when, in fact, the guy who popularized rice has come out since to say this isn't the best plan of action?
Yeah. I think it's just been so ingrained in the medical system for such a long time. I mean, for the listeners out there, 1979, Dr. Gabe Merkin wrote a book. I think it was just called the Sports Medicine Book. And basically it talked about how the preferred method of treating acute injuries was rest, ice, protection, elevation, the RICE protocol. And it since sort of
compression.
Yeah. And since sort of integrated itself into the way in which we treat everyday injuries and especially post-op injuries. Now, I'll say this. The only time I like ice is if I'm having a margarita.
That's
you know
fair.
What I'm saying?
Now, what about as far as like contrast work?
Now, so that's a whole nother story. So let's first talk about just ice in general, what it does. So if you have any type of soft tissue injury, you're instantly going to spark this inflammation process within the body. Now, you ask any medical practitioner, what are the 3 phases of injury and healing? Inflammation is the first stage.
Right.
If you don't have inflammation, you do not have healing.
Well, because inflammation is the body, sending a bunch of white blood cells and everything toward the thing to help.
Exactly. So if you have an open wound, there's a number of different white blood cells that are there to clear up bacteria. If it's not an open wound, you still have damaged tissue. So there are white blood cells called macrophages that come to the area, and they're basically, their job is to clean up and take away things that have been damaged cells.
Yeah, so you want this.
You want that. And if you don't get that, you actually delay your healing.